The dark days of Ebola have ended, but there are still debts to be paid. Kenema Government Hospital in eastern Sierra Leone was the front line in the fight, but healthcare systems were weak and quickly overwhelmed.
Here, I saw human misery unfold. A makeshift morgue was so overstretched that there were piles of corpses lying everywhere. I saw a 7-year-old boy walking through this doorway, like he was walking to the gallows. He never came back.
A quarter of the country's health workers who succumbed to the epidemic died at this hospital as they battled the virus. But still, they had to fight to be paid. These are scenes from a dramatic protest in late 2014. High-risk workers hadn't received their allowances in months. Burial teams brought out highly infectious corpses from the morgue and laid them at the hospital's entry points. Andrew Bokri was part of this demonstration and said they had no choice. He says he is still missing nearly $800.
I've been signing for 2 million.
I was signing for 2 million leones a month, but I only received 1.5 million. This went on for 8 months. They owe me 4 million, and I have heard nothing from them since.
And many others on the front line were in the same situation. An internal audit of Sierra Leone's Ebola funds suggested that up to $4 million of risk pay for healthcare workers had not been accounted for. Old broken ambulances collected dust, and some new ones that had been paid for never arrived. The public was outraged by the report's findings. It detailed the misappropriation of funds meant to fight the disease.
Millions of dollars were not actually explained how they were utilized. And at this point in time, a good portion of those monies, we are yet to know what has been done about it. Because we're expecting a situation wherein monies are to be refunded, withholding taxes are to be repaid, ambulances that had to be paid, that had to be supplied are still, we are not aware that they have been supplied.
Al-Hassan Kemokai contracted Ebola in September 2014 at the height of the outbreak. By this point, money had been released and resources should have reached those fighting the disease. But he says conditions were still unbearable.
We are treated like any African dogs. Nurses were not enough at that time because they were scared that their colleagues are dying, and they were not getting an adequate supply of their gears.
Despite little action in 2 years, the government insists they are taking the matter seriously.
This is not a time to come and say who is right or wrong. It is a time to fix and fight corruption, because for us, you can bring all the infrastructural development, but once there is corruption, we are very much overly concerned about that.
Whoever is to blame for the misappropriation, the consequences are stark.
Nearly 4,000 Sierra Leoneans died during this outbreak. It's impossible to tell how many, but clearly many of those lives could have been saved if only millions of dollars had not been mismanaged or even stolen.
Nothing can soothe the thousands of bereaved families left behind, and it's unclear if those responsible will ever be held to account. Umaru Fofana, BBC News, Sierra Leone.